Hi, my name's Jonny, and today I am feeling horny, Longhorny. We are checking out the red hot Longhorn from Danelectro. Now, this is a bass I never thought I would ever A, review, and B, like. Spoilers, by the way. Come on, like, the Longhorn has always been a bit of a joke to me. Like, it's so stupid. It even fits in the shot of my camera, and that's because what we've actually got here is a really cool and unique semi-hollow short scale bass. Standard short scales are 30 inches from the bridge to the nut. The Longhorn though is 29.75, so it's a short scale. Danelectro makes some really cool basses, I think. Super vintage inspired and very unique, well known for this kind of tic-tac single coils that we've got in here, and these wouldn't traditionally be the kind of thing that I would go for, but I have been so surprised by this bass. The Longhorn has been around for a long time. This is the first time we've got it in this lovely red colour with the binding on the outside and with this F-hole, that semi-hollow nature. I'm gonna say it is ugly, like, oh my god, but it's kind of like the ugly duckling. Once you get it in your hands, it blossoms into this beautiful swan, and it's something that I now quite like. Get it? What's happened to me? Before we go anywhere, I do need to say that Danelectro have sent me this bass to check out today, but they haven't asked me to say anything or do anything specific. I'm just here to give my honest opinions, and yeah, that's what you're gonna get. Starting up at the top, you can see on the back of the headstock it said this is made in Korea. £750 for a Korean-made bass? Quite a lot of money, but it is quite unique. Definitely different flavour to anything else I've got here in my studio. The first talking point is, of course, this tiny straight headstock with these guitar-sized machine heads on here. And you might think, well, you know, they're never going to hold a bass in tune, but they actually do a pretty good job, I have to say. Then we move up to the nut, which is actually metal. It's kind of this aluminium nut that we've got on here, which is a little bit different to your standard bone nuts you might get, and this adds a bit more spank to your sound and a bit more tightness to the sound, I find. Moving up the fretboard, we've got a really comfy neck. It's, you know, that Goldilocks perfect size where it's not too skinny. I think one thing that is really impressive about this bass is that you go up the fretboard and we've got 24 frets on a short scale. That's 2 full octaves, and that's probably why the horns are designed in such a way that allows you to reach those top frets with no issues whatsoever. This bass only weighs about 4.2 pounds, so super lightweight and really easy to play for long periods. The shape might look like it's a bit unergonomic, but it actually suits really well stood up and sat down. Like I said, we've got these 2 single coil pickups that are sort of angled ever so slightly, and these are accessed actually via the back. And if you want to take the pickups out, it's got screws in the back of the body, as well as this 4-plate construction for the neck. Speaking of the neck, it is a gloss painted finish, and I don't find it too sticky. Maybe if I'm a bit sweatier, it would drag a little bit, but because it's a short scale, I don't tend to mind so much, as it's naturally a bit easier to get up and down the fretboard. Now, what you all here for to see me talk about knobs. Look at these knobs. It's like little fat controller hats. Look, it's Topham Hat's knob. Just a massive volume, massive tone, and then a three-way pickup selector. And maybe the nicest pickup selector, quality-wise, I've ever felt. Really nice. Unfortunately, there is something bad here, and that is the bridge. It looks amazing. Really cool, suits the vibe, I get it, but it's essentially a three-point floating bridge where you just balance the string height across, adjusting the two screws here accordingly. You can't adjust individual saddles or anything like that, so it's by design quite difficult to intonate or to set up, but out of the box, the setup is absolutely phenomenal. Like, this plays really, really well, and I found myself picking it up more and more and more, and more than I'd care to admit with this ugly duckling. Now let's have a listen to what noises this duckling can make. For this demo, I have just got the Longhorn going straight into the Line 6 HX Stomp. We're going to have a listen to just the DI first of all, and then we'll play around with an amp sim and some effects. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, this sounds great. Like, loads of fun, kind of like it almost sounds like a jazz bass with a little bit less of a mid scoop and a little bit less bass in there. Which you might think is a bad thing for a bass, but it sounds great in its own right, honestly, and this is just a clean DI. Now let's have a listen to just the neck pickup. Now that sounds P-bassy, but almost more like a P-bass than just typical straight single coil, like in a jazz bass. I don't know, I can't really explain it. Perhaps it's to do with the slight angle of the pickup. It's kind of mirroring what a P-bass split coil is more like, perhaps. I don't know, but that is what the impression I'm kind of getting. That sounds phenomenal. Now, whilst we're on this pickup, I'm going to play around with the tone. This is the tone all the way off. This is A, so much fun to play, and B, just sounds great. There's loads of note definition when you've got the tone rolled all the way off. It's not just totally muffled. It's actually giving something that's really musical. On the bridge, tone 100%. with the tone off, the bridge pickup sounds good, but that's not really my kind of sounds normally. Now let's put it back to everything in the middle, remind ourselves of the DI. And turn on our amp sim. This is the Gallien-Kruger head with the Ampeg SVT 8x10 cab, all in the HX Stomp. The EQ is really flat, there's nothing extreme going on. It's just to give a bit of an idea about what it might sound like through an amp. It sounds like a really high quality instrument. I think sound-wise punches way above its weight. Now, I don't know exactly what sound quality the semi-hollow nature of this bass is providing, but I'm not hearing any of those classic characteristics. Perhaps the sustain is being affected by this, but it's not a traditional semi-hollow in that sense, and I don't get that kind of woody vibe from it. Now that just sounds like a kind of more scooped P bass, and that is a vibe. I really like that. Now I don't normally talk about playability in this section, but whilst I'm demonstrating it here, I'll just show you what I mean. So this isn't a problem. This doesn't get in the way. It's kind of nice to rest your boob, rest on there, and that's fine because I haven't got a strap on at the minute, of course. You know, if I were to just let go, the bass would just go. It doesn't sit super well on your body, so this kind of helps that a little bit when you're sitting down. Now let's have fun with some drive. This is the Darkglass Clone Drive, and is this the first time we've seen a Longhorn with Darkglass? Who knows? This soaks up drive really, really well. That was both pickups. Let's just hear it quickly with just the neck pickup. I think definitely with both pickups on, it sounds the best with drive there. Now, it's a short scale. It would be very rude not to throw some fuzz on it. summarize, in terms of sound effects, it works really well with. It is surprisingly diverse in terms of like playing style that it sounds good with. Like, what the hell? I don't think the bridge pickup by itself sounds great with the tone on. When you roll the tone off, it does that burpy bridge pickup thing, but it's not necessarily my favorite sound. When you got both pickups on though, it sounds incredible, and a surprisingly good P-bass imitation from a short scale lipstick pickup in the neck position. Really, really cool sounds. Let me know what you think of this in the comment section down below. So there we go. Let me know in the comment down below what you think about this red hot bass. Is it red hot or red not? For me, I'm kind of floored by this bass because I was ready to rag on it. I was ready to be like, oh my god, look at this thing. It's so ridiculous, so awful. But I kind of love it. It's got a unique flavor to it, but also isn't too wacky that it's unusable. Like, there are some super familiar sounds in there, especially when you go over to the neck pickup. That's a great P-bass sound. Price-wise, I do think that it's quite expensive for what it is. I have seen it for around £600 on some dealers, but on Danelectro's website, it says £749. Considering that this is kind of priced the same as a Fender Player Series, I don't know, is that, you've got to really want this to pay that money for this, I think. But it is a good bass. You are getting a really nice instrument. So yeah, let me know what you think about the red hot Longhorn in the comments section down below. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.